Welcome to the Breaking 90 podcast, where we talk about all things sustainable fat loss. We take people on 90-day journeys to creating fat loss forever. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoy the episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Breaking 90 podcast. I'm here today with my co-host, Kelly Sarlo, and we are two of the coaches of Breaking 90 Fitness. Thanks for being here, listening. Hope you guys enjoy the episode. Hey, Kelly.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good.
Good.
You know what I'm going to say?
I think I do, but go ahead.
We got a puppy.
Yeah.
If you guys listening to this have been following on social media, we got a new little dude in our family, Gary, a little chocolate lab. Pretty excited about that. He's a bundle of energy, and he's doing a bunch of dog training this week, so we're not actually seeing much of him, but excited to have that new part of our journey to tackle together.
Yeah, and you're doing it right. Sending him to get the training before he actually comes home. I think
Yeah,
that's
we wanted to keep him for a few days and then do it, and she was just like, it's gonna be so much easier on him if you do it right away, and easier on you guys with those first tough kenneled nights. And she sends tons of updates, and I got to see him yesterday for a little bit, so it's cool, and I think it's gonna really help. It is, you know what, it's so similar to training. If we do the things consistently, they're going to pay off huge. If we crumble and fold, then they won't.
yeah, that's awesome. Oh,
Yeah.
good for you guys. I can't wait to meet him.
Yeah.
Cool.
What you got for us today?
Well, I want to kind of set the stage here. I brag a lot about you. I think listeners know that, and certainly people in our community know that. You are someone of the highest integrity. And I see that in your friendships, your personal relationships, and also with what you give to the client experience. And what I wanted to do, because I see you like this, is actually ask you about personal training or personal trainer red flags, because you've been in this industry for a long time. And I think some people, might be listening to this wanting to get into fitness, wanting to get into health. They want that guidance, but they don't necessarily know what red flags look like.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you. That was very nice of you to say about me.
It's all true.
um, all right. Where do you want to start?
Well, I wanted you to be able to take it in the personal trainer themselves, but also personal training information, whether that's things to stay away from, ideas and concepts to stay away from, but also just in terms of how you can expect to be treated by a trainer that has integrity.
Cool. Okay. Right out of the gate, I don't believe in a one size fits all approach for health and fitness. And I think that's important to start with, because there are industries where this is the right way and this is the wrong way. And I don't think health and fitness can fit under that umbrella. It doesn't work that way. There's things that work for this person and things that work for this person, and they might be very different. And then there's really dumb shit that that nobody should do,
Yes.
and a lot of people try to profit off of.
Thank you. So I'm asking about the dumb shit.
Okay. So the supplement market's the best place to start here, because it's a bunch of snake oil. And anything that seems too good to be true in health and fitness is probably too good to be true.
Mm-hmm.
Because what works is hard work and consistency. And it's been working for many, many, many years. There's very few things, health, fitness, nutrition, supplement related, very few new things coming to our market that are worth looking at. Okay. That doesn't mean people can't repackage and frame it in a way that it becomes convenient or easy to use. That's not what I'm implying. But if it's like a new and exciting thing, it's probably not worth giving too much of your time and attention to,
Yeah.
because it always circles back to the foundation and the basics. The same lifts are still the lifts that are getting us the best results. The same foods are still the same foods that are getting us the best results. The same supplements are still the same supplements that are getting us the best results. So the difference here is a lot of people are getting better at presenting it and packaging it and offering it in a convenient, consumer friendly manner. That's fine. That's not what I'm saying. Just like we have done with Breaking 90 Fitness, we've created a coaching program that implements all of this stuff in a user friendly manner. That's what I think we should be looking for. But anytime you hear something, you're like, oh, like that sounds a little too good to be true. That I've never heard of that before. That's a really new concept. Like that should be enough just to at least make you question the process. And I get that people listening to this aren't fully immersed in the health and fitness field, so you are gonna learn a lot of new things. You're gonna come across some new ideas. That's for sure. It'd be like me taking a course in auto mechanics or something. Like I'm not going to know everything. You're going to learn things along the way. So but you need to question things. You need to question a lot, and you need to ask these questions. You need to be a little skeptical. It's okay to ask questions and be interested and curious and educate yourselves along the way. A good trainer is not going to take offense to you questioning part of the process.
Cool.
That is an opportunity for you to learn, and it's an opportunity for them to teach. And if they're not willing to do that, then that's not the coach or the trainer for you.
Neat. Okay, I like that.
Um, anything you wanna ask or add there?
Not so far. I like the points that you're making. I know you started by saying supplements, right? Like there's some red flags there that are making too big of a promise, right?
Totally.
You're not referring to those natural things that we might need that our body isn't supplementing or creating
There's
itself.
there's even there's even created supplements that have they do well, but they've been around. Like they've proven themselves time and time again. They've been used in competition and professional athletes. Um like a pre-workout, for instance, is like a blend mostly of beta alanine and caffeine, two products that are proven to be effective and work, that we can buy for very, very cheap individually, are being packaged together, mixed up with some other ingredients, some sweet flavors, and some sugar, and sold for like 6 times the amount of money.
Oh,
You
okay.
don't need it. It's not going to make a difference. If you want to use caffeine before workout, have a coffee or buy a caffeine tablet for like next to no amount of money. Go buy a tub of beta alanine for like $12. These products on their own are dirt cheap. They
Hmm.
are so I mean, if you have money to throw away, yeah, some of these pre-workouts taste great, right? Like it's like drinking a Gatorade or something like that. It tastes great, but it isn't doing you any favors.
Mm-hmm.
It's not anything magical. The way any of that shit they write on the package and anything they claim on there, like it's simply it's not true. They're not going to get you better results than going and buying the individual ingredients on your own and deciding how much of each you want to take for the type of activity that you're doing. And that's just one example. There's branched chain amino acids, which for the average person will do zero, and they're going to cost you a ton. Protein's a good one. Creatine's a good one for some people. A lot of what you get in your multivitamin, you're going to pee out and not use. So you'd probably be better off figuring out where your deficiencies lie and just buying the specific vitamins that you need in the proper dosages. There's like fat burners are ridiculous. Fat burners are the worst one on the market right now. There's no fat burner that's good or effective, that's worth investing in. But just on the idea of it alone, right? Because it's not part of losing fat sustainably is learning how to do it. So some of these fat burners are tricking your body essentially into not feeling hungry, which
Mm.
isn't good. We're blocking um our brains and bodies response to hunger, which is an important cue that we need. And then you're like, oh, I'm not hungry, so I'm not going to eat. Well, you still need to eat. You still need to nurture your body and fuel properly. So just because you're not hungry means you'll eat less, but it's not like, oh, you're all of a sudden going to crave protein and vegetables. You're not
Yeah.
going to want to eat anything. And so now you're not fueling your body properly at all. So you're going to lose weight, but you're also going to lose muscle mass and you're going to lose energy. And then you're not going to use that forever because it's terrible for you. So then when you stop using it, what did you learn through that process?
Literally nothing, just dependency.
Right? So this is what a lot of these supplements become, and that's just scratching the surface. I mean, it's the water runs deep here, and even with like a steroid, for instance, a steroid allows you to repair and build muscle at an accelerated rate. If you just sit on the couch, it's not going to do anything for you. If you're going to take that steroid and train your ass off, it's going to allow you to train more often for longer and harder, and then you'll get better results. But at the end of the day, it still roots back to you doing the hard work,
Yeah.
which is where most people's problem lies. It's not that they aren't recovering quick enough. It's not that their muscles are taking a longer time to recover for the average person. It's actually getting in the gym and lifting weights enough to cause change.
Hmm. Cool. So, with regards to working like one on one, let's say, whether it's online or in a gym, what kind of red flags would you look for in a personal trainer relationship?
Outlandish claims for sure. So if they're claiming results, like I said, that sound too good to be true, then yeah, that's number one. Insisting that there is a specific way that people need to do things is another one. A trainer and a coach, every good trainer and coach should be open to the idea that there are more ways to get there than one. I refuse to believe that any good coach wouldn't. There's what we like. I would I would say I could build you one of the best plans to get there, but that doesn't mean shit for the average person because they're probably not willing to do that stuff,
Mm.
right? Like for if you're saying like, and this is such, there's so many different directions this needs to go. First of all, depending on your goal. So we're gonna say this person's goal is just to live a healthier, longer, better life. For that, I would say that they need to do 3 to 4 days of resistance training. They need to be doing cardio. This is optimal. Like this is to create a specimen of this end goal. It's 3 to 4 days a week of resistance training. Probably 1 to 2 days a week of hard cardio and then light cardio almost every other day. And then an active recovery program and mobility program to go along with that. That's what I would say would be optimal for that person whose goal is to live a healthier, longer, better lifestyle. How many people listening to this would do that? Like
Mm.
almost zero. It's way too much. You'd be like, there's no way I can commit to this. It's a lot. I don't do that much, right? And I know that that would be the optimal recipe. So when you need to make sure that the coach or trainer you're talking to has enough life experience to be able to put that into practice with you. And
That,
I've been there. I was a brand new trainer when I was 18 years old, and I was obsessed with the science and the program that could create the best result without looking at any of the external factors. Like you get a 35-year-old new mom in the gym and you're like, well, why the hell can't you train 4 days a week? What's wrong with you, lady? Right?
yeah.
Like I was there, so I remember. It was just a lack of experience, a lack of life experience, a lack of experience as a trainer. And I think that's a huge factor. If you are a 20-year-old fresh out of high school and you have endless amounts of time, maybe that is the right trainer for you at that time in your life. But that's a red flag that I'd be looking for. Somebody who can connect and relate to the issues and struggles that I have.
You're also talking about a lack of flexibility.
I think it's like I don't even think it's necessarily that new trainer's fault though. They just don't know yet.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Like I thought that training was the biggest part of the recipe back then. And it's like it's such a tiny fraction in comparison to actually working on our lifestyle habits and our mindset and our scheduling and priorities. The training itself is a very small piece of that puzzle.
Cool. So, can I ask you about a concept, and maybe hopefully this is just outdated now, but no pain, no gain. Is
Mm.
this a red flag for you?
Um, it depends on who I'm training.
Oh, neat. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. If I have to just say yes or no, the answer is yes. It's outdated and it's ridiculous. Um, if I'm training a young athlete, like I'm gonna kick their ass, right?
Okay.
And so they're gonna feel some level of pain for sure. And um, but the idea of this saying is that we have to work harder for more results, which isn't at all true. We need to prioritize rest. We need to challenge the body in a way that it's going to cause us to need to adapt and then provide adequate nutrition and rest for it to actually adapt.
Hmm.
If we go in with that no pain, no gain mentality, it's work, no rest, no recovery, you're not going to make progress. So yeah. But that being said, like there is a time and a place to kick someone's ass.
So, I recently saw a video online of trainers who are just like making their clients in the gym push through like tears, and just like you can see they're done, right? Is that the kind of ass kicking that you're actually talking about?
Um, no, not for the average person.
Cool.
But I do think that there's a time and a place for like for somebody who is striving for something so huge
Mhm.
that they need to create sacrifice that 99% of the world would not be willing to create,
Cool.
right? And the truth is, for that 1%, they probably won't be in tears because they will understand why it's so important for them to work that hard. If you want to become the best in the world at something, you're going to have to make such massive sacrifice that nobody around you will ever understand.
And we're probably talking about like Olympic athletes at this
Totally.
point. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if
Absolutely.
you're an average human being thinking about joining a fitness program, you don't want to be looking for a trainer who wants to push you to the point of tears.
No. No, not at all. Because your actions need to be in line with your goals.
Hmm.
And so if the actions that that trainer or coach is asking you to do aren't in line with if you're just wanting to live that longer, healthier, better lifestyle, well, that's not happening by you being in tears and crying on the floor and puking at the end of the workout. That's not making you live a longer, healthier, happier. That's making you live a miserable lifestyle. So it needs to be something where you're like, you know what, this isn't that bad. I thought I hated working out, but this is pretty enjoyable. I've found something that I can fit into my lifestyle because you'll hear me say this a lot. Anything we add from a nutrition or health standpoint or fitness standpoint, we should be looking for things that we could implement for the rest of our life.
Hmm.
So if every workout's leaving you in tears or puking or in pain, that's not something you are going to implement for the rest of your life.
Cool.
So that's why I think like we talked about that optimal training plan. If you hate going to the gym, if you hate lifting weights, you can still become a better, healthier, happier version of yourself by walking, by going to Zumba, by joining a dance class, by doing gymnastics. Like find something you're passionate about that you will commit to, combine it with lifestyle choices and nutrition, and you will make progress. Is it going to be 100% optimal? No, probably not, but it'll be a hell of a lot better than not doing anything, right? And that's what I think that's what I think everybody needs to find and needs to find a coach that's in line with that vision for them. But there's a big difference between the person who wants to compete in something and the person that just wants to live a longer, healthier, better lifestyle, which is most people,
Hmm.
truthfully. Like if you're listening to this, you're like, well, I want to run a 10K next year. Like That's you can run a 10K. That's you don't need to give up your entire life to run a 10K next year. That's not what I'm implying. Like the people that want to compete at a serious level will have to create sacrifice that is in line with competing at a serious level.
Yeah. Cool. And okay, so the last one I wanted to ask you about in terms of red flags is communication with your coach. Like what should we be kind of on the lookout for in terms of a green flag? And then opposite with red flags.
So I think you need a coach that wants you to learn how to do this on your own and doesn't hold your hand the entire time. Um,
Cool.
we get people talking about things like meal plans, which to me is a huge red flag. Like who the hell, once again, if you're competing in something, a meal plan has a time and a place. If it's like until this date when your competition happens, I need you to eat structured like this, that makes sense to me. But for the person that's trying to learn lifestyle change, that meal plan is like that fat burner. It
Mhm.
works because you've got it, you've got the restriction, it's there in front of you. I can stick to this easily. What are you going to do once it's gone? What did that teach you by reading and consuming what is on that list day after day after day? 5 almonds and a tablespoon of olive oil on my salad. Like maybe you got some recipes out of it, but more than anything, it's a crutch that isn't teaching you to do this on your own. So that's I know I went off track a little bit on your question there,
No?
but um that's a huge part, is somebody that want like I want to teach you how to eat, not tell you what to eat. I
Yeah.
want to teach you how to fit exercise into your lifestyle, not always be holding your hand and saying you have to do this, and this, because that's not realistic. What do you do when the trainer's gone? What do you do when you don't have access to the gym? What do you do when you don't have access to the meal plan? How are you going to navigate those situations? That's important to me.
Yeah, that's wonderful. You're teaching people how to think.
Yeah. Yeah, because you shouldn't, anything that feels like you're going to have to do it forever to succeed is probably not worth doing. It's don't get me wrong, I would love to have some of our clients stay with us forever because they're just a joy to work with. And I think a lot of people really love the community and the accountability and that side of things. So they do stay with us for a long time. I still don't want them to feel like they have to. I want them to get to the point where they're like, yeah, I could totally do this on my own now. This is my lifestyle now.
Cool. I love that. Okay, thank you. That's what I wanted people to kind of just be able to think about. Uh,
I've got more.
oh, okay. Hit us.
I was just thinking of another one from a nutrition standpoint. Um, saying that things need to be cut out of your diet is a big one. There is a there is room in a healthy diet for everything. So for instance, talked to somebody the other day that's like, oh yeah, on this meal plan, I can't have corn. And I'm like, I get it. Like a sweet potato is better than corn. It's more nutritious than corn. It's going to give us more value than corn. But like corn isn't the issue for the average person. Having a cob of corn isn't the problem in your diet. You're not going to sit down and eat 12 cobs of corn. Like if you have,
For yourself.
yeah, like if you have one with your meal, is that out of everything you're doing right now, is that really the thing that we need to pinpoint? Like looking at the amount of sweets and treats you have, how big of portion sizes you're having, how often you're consuming alcohol, like looking at all of your nutrition behaviors. Do you think that piece of corn is really the first thing we need to identify? So I don't like when we're cutting out a specific food, a food group, or a macronutrient. So like carbs, protein, fat. We're not cutting out a whole macronutrient. Um, when you're talking to a lot of once again, I think you should question all your health and fitness professionals, not just your coach. Because they're following their set of rules and guidelines, but that doesn't mean it's necessarily the only way. So when you talk to a dietitian or a nutritionist or a naturopath, we often get a huge suggestion of lists of foods we should cut out from our diet. I think you should challenge it and you should do some research for yourself. I think there's definitely foods that we're all going to tolerate better and worse. And within that list, they may lie, but often, not every one of these people, because there's some that will do a much more thorough job than others, but often it's easier for them to say avoid all of this
Mm.
than it is to take the time and do the work with you to pinpoint which one of those things or which few of those things are actually going to be a problem for you. It's I've had numerous clients come to me and be like, hey, the last medical professional gave me this list of like 40 foods I can't eat. And you're not going to live your life like that. You're just not. So don't be afraid to challenge and ask questions and do some of your own research and get to the point where you can make that realistic. Because for most people, having a list of 40 foods you're never going to eat isn't realistic or sustainable. So it's not doing you any justice.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Yeah, that's it.
Hey, well done. Do you want to leave us with a tip?
um Tip for today is keep it simple. It's we talked about this a little bit on a coaching call recently with our clients, but we get caught up in this big idea of what meal prep needs to become, and people get overwhelmed by the idea of meal prep. Make it the simplest version for you. For a lot of, like for myself, like making leftovers at dinner is the simplest version of meal prep. I make food for 6 people when it's just the two of us eating. So
Mm-hmm.
now I've got 2 extra meals. That can be meal prep. Um, you can just make extra of one ingredient. It can be batch cooking. I'm not saying it has to be batch cooking, but find the simplest version of meal prep for you, even if it means unconventional meals, even if it means eating an apple with some almonds and a chicken breast. Like that's not a nicely presented meal, but it's still in line with your goals. Meal prep doesn't need to be what you're seeing on Pinterest, where people are batch cooking these crazy, like fancy Tupperware containers, and they've got 20 of them. For some people, that works great, but like for most of you with the busy lifestyles you live, you're not going to spend 4 hours on a Sunday doing all this meal prep and cooking. So keep it simple.
Love it. Thank you.
Cool. Okay, guys, thanks for listening. If you have any questions, make sure you reach out and let us know. And if there's anything I missed that you would like to add to this list, I'd love to hear it from you too. I know that topic could have went on and on for a while. So I'd like to have that conversation with you if you're more interested in digging deeper.